sophisticated missile system to Iran tonight. New, very carefully chosen words from the defense secretary about the Russian threat.
Vladimir Putin's Russia behaves in many respects in some respects, and in very important respects, as an antagonist. That is new. That is something, therefore, that we need to adjust to and counter.
This follows the most senior generals also sounding a warning.
If you want to talk about a nation that could pose an existential threat to the United States, I'd have to point to Russia. And if you look at their behavior, it's nothing short of alarming.
I would put Russia right now, from a military perspective, as the number one threat.
Why are they all saying this? U.S. military intelligence analysts increasingly worry Putin will turn his eye on Eastern Europe, far beyond the violence he backs in Ukraine. As tensions rise,
Russia poses existential threat to the United States by virtue simply of the size of the nuclear arsenal that it's had.
There's little indication Putin will help the U.S. in Syria by encouraging Syrian President Bashar al-Assad to either step down or find a political solution to his war on his own people. The Pentagon is struggling to find a way to train a moderate Syrian rebel force willing to fight ISIS rather than Assad. The first 54 U.S.-trained fighters essentially melted away after being attacked. The U.S. may now turn to others.
The Kurds in both Syria and Iraq have been exactly what we've been talking about earlier, namely a capable and motivated ground force at taking and holding territory.
Training Syrian rebels, getting Iraqi forces able to retake Ramadi, and getting the Turks to shut down the border, all essential to winning the war on ISIS.
Our intelligence community says it's a stalemate.
Well, then you can report that, but I'm not going to try to characterize it.
Now, Carter says he is convinced the ISIS strategy is working, but U.S. military intelligence analysts have said behind the scenes, right now, at least in Iraq, it is a stalemate, and the outcome is not certain. Wolf?
Barbara, what else is the U.S. doing to counter this perceived threat from Putin?
Well, in Europe right now, yet again, a series of military war games, the U.S. and 10 NATO nations training intensively in airborne operations, meaning that they can all basically jump into a hot war zone and fight together as a NATO team if necessary. Over the coming months, you are going to see an almost continuous presence of NATO nations, including the U.S., in various places in Europe, especially Eastern Europe, training, exercising, conducting war games. The feeling is Vladimir Putin is not a guy who's open to a deal, that you will have to show military strength for him to even begin to get the message. Wolf?
All right, Barbara, thank you. Hillary Clinton's